Is your vehicle in need of a quick oil change or tune-up before hitting the road this summer? Stop by Quick Lube and Tune, the home of the good guys at 610 South Wenatchee Avenue.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And a little bit smoky out there today, but boy, not even close to as bad as we've seen the past couple of weeks. This is our Pine Canyon camera looking at the beautiful Columbia River. A few high clouds out there as well, but for the most part, it was a beautiful day today. But we do have changes on the way. First, before the rain moves in, which we'll talk about later, we have to deal with some wind, and that will begin in earnest tomorrow and especially into Thursday. And of course, that could cause some rapid fire spread as a potential hazard. Our strongest wind speeds will be right here in central Washington, which includes the Okanagan Valley and the Cascade East slopes. We will see that beginning tonight and going through Thursday. More on that coming up a little bit later on in our weather forecast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. We'll have an update from Chelan County Commissioners. Emergency Management's Facebook page shares an inappropriate post and an update on the campaign for a direct flight from San Francisco. Later on, we'll have sports, your weather forecast, and our featured story today. But first, at the regular board meeting Monday night, the Eastmont School Board decided to add the possibility of changing the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary as an agenda item for the October 23rd school board meeting. Eastmont School Board spokesman and school superintendent Garn Christensen says the issue of the name change was too important to ignore, and now the process begins for a school board decision.
You know, the board has the authority to make a decision if they feel they're ready to. It will just depend on how their conversation goes and whether or not they decide that's a topic they do want to consider further, or if they do, what process to use. You know, the policy doesn't stipulate a committee or anything like that. Typically, a board, when they're faced with a concern such as this, can either say, no, we're fine, we want to leave the name as it is. Sometimes they'll task the superintendent to form a committee and come back with recommendations, or they'll put on a calendar, you know, we'll review this name at some point in the future. Sometimes when schools are rebuilt or modernized, there'll be a process that's used to review the name and determine if that's the name they want to continue or whether or not they want to consider a change.
The name controversy is also swirling around the two candidates running for the Eastmont School Board, John Brangwyn and Dave People. Brangwyn has already stated he supports changing the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary, and People recently released a statement saying the school's name is not as important as what happens inside the school. Christensen says he can't predict whether the candidate's position regarding the name change will determine who is elected this fall.
You know, I can't predict that question. You know, board candidates often have different opinions on various issues on how schools work or how they might work, and that will be up to each candidate to express those. I do not know. I know both have shared some thoughts on this so far. I think one has come out with an opinion, but the other gentleman is still waiting until the discussion further evolves.
The discussion at the board's second meeting on October 23rd is at 5:30 at the district's maintenance facility that's located at 345 6th Street Northeast in East Wenatchee. Chelan County Commissioners continue to review the Shoreline Management Act as mandated by the Department of Ecology. Commissioner Doug England says the board is going over the proposal one step at a time to make sure the act is less restrictive and to make the permitting process much easier.
We're going through it chapter by chapter now. We think we have covered all but about 4 or 5 of the properties that have been redesignated. From the emails we're getting, people are fairly comfortable now with what the new designations are. And so we worked through that property by property, allowed each person to comment if they needed to, staff to gave staff designations that we felt were proper for that location. That has helped a whole lot, and what we're going to do now is go through chapter by chapter with staff reports, with comments that we've gotten from the industry and from citizens concerning what they would like to see and what we feel that is legal and what we feel that Department of Ecology will accept. We will go through that then. On the web page is a schedule through community development that we'll be going through those. Hopefully we can speed that up a little bit, but if not, there is a schedule there that at least those chapters will be covered. Our goal is still by the end of the year to have something to the Department of Ecology. We feel that this is the next thing to do, and once we go through that, we feel that we're in position to go ahead and submit that in its entirety to the Department of Ecology.
England also commented on the recent water rights agreement between the Chelan County PUD and the Department of Ecology.
It's rather than the end of a process, it's the end of their agreement, but it's the beginning of the process that will hopefully determine what we can do for exempt wells and what we can do as far as the next step to make sure that someone with a building permit or someone with property can go ahead and use the exempt well process to get water on their land.
Chelan County Emergency Management is receiving backlash after an employee shared a meme on its Facebook page showing protesters getting run over by an SUV. According to a press release from the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, an employee accidentally shared the post to the agency's page on Monday and removed it as soon as staff realized the error. The post was a meme with the caption, "All lives splatter. Nobody cares about your protest. Keep your expletive out of the road." A meme is defined as an image or piece of text that is copied, often with slight variations, and spread rapidly by internet users. Chelan County Emergency Management has made changes in its procedure to, quote, assure nothing like this will occur in the future. 17 immigrant farm workers remain on strike in Quincy, complaining of threats from supervisors, health and safety concerns, and retaliatory firings. The Wenatchee World reports that W&L Orchards, operated by Larson Fruit Company in Sela, employs around 25 migrant workers under contract to pick apples from its orchard 9 miles southwest of Quincy. The pickers stopped work for a day last week over a list of grievances, including having to work with broken ladders, being forced to drink water that's been in a jar for a week, and unclean toilets. The laborers renewed their strike last Sunday after 3 fellow workers who organized the strike were fired. Most W&L workers are from Mexico and have been employed at the location in Quincy since February under an H-2A contract that provides the laborers with U.S. visas. The Larson Fruit Company has been in the orchard and warehousing business for over 50 years and has orchards in both Quincy and Yakima. Officials with the Larson firm could not be reached for comment. Coming up, local police arrest more involved in an ID fraud ring. The Wenatchee Community Center will host a forum on the DACA program, and Chelan County Search and Rescue talks expenses following a busy year in north central Washington. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
No matter what your age or ailment, when you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, life has meaning and joy.
Just wait a while, it'll get in the hole somewhere.
Helping you do this is our purpose. Highgate Senior Living, each day to the fullest.
The best thing about my life right now is
Me.
Another major arrest related to identity theft and related offenses around the Wenatchee Valley fined 5 California residents in custody for mail theft, forged credit card documents, and stolen property trafficking. According to the Wenatchee World, Bonnie K. Copeland, Edward James Salvador, and Brittany Nicole Black, all of Bakersfield, are accused of working in a fraud ring that used stolen mail from local residents to create credit card accounts. East Wenatchee and Wenatchee police each made arrests in the case and identified more than 115 victims. All 5 suspects are jailed in either Chelan County Regional Justice Center or Okanagan County Jail. In the wake of the Trump administration's announcement that the DACA program is being terminated, the Wenatchee Community Center and the Washington Dream Coalition are hosting community forums to help answer DACA recipients and their family questions. The forum in Wenatchee is happening tonight at the Community Center. Stay tuned tomorrow as we bring you coverage of the free community forum right here on NCW Life News at 5 o'clock. Chelan County search and rescue agencies have had a busy summer this year, nipping at the heels of last year's record-breaking year for the agency. Chelan County Emergency Management's Rich Magnuson said funding the resources and rescues can be expensive, primarily because the costs are pulled right from the sheriff's office budget.
Real busy. Last year was a record year for us, and this year's shaping up to be real close to what last year was. A lot of water rescues this year. We've had deployed our swift water rescue team on quite a few calls. We've had a lot of calls up in the enchantments, Mount Stewart, Dragon Tail Peak, the most recent one. So yeah, it's been a real busy year for us. In the state of Washington, you cannot bill for search and rescue services. So it comes directly out of our budget. So we try to budget for it, but it's kind of a tough thing to put a dollar amount on it, a year earlier, because it just ranges, can vary year to year on how busy we are.
Magnuson said the most common rescues are hikers who find themselves in over their head on the trail.
A lot of our missions are people just getting themselves into situations that they probably shouldn't have, maybe doing things that are a little above their skill level. So just planning a little bit more, spending some time researching, and just not putting yourself into those situations. Our swift water rescues this year, we've had a lot of those. A lot of them have turned out, ended up being fatalities. All could have been prevented by wearing a personal flotation device. So encouraging people when they're in or around water to wear a PFD at all times. First of all, it's, cost is the last thing on our mind. When somebody's hurt or injured out in the wilderness, we respond, we put whatever resources we need to get the people out of there and save their life. Cost is the last thing on our mind, but at the end of it, we do look at, each SAR is different, search and rescue is different, but we look at it and we'll send somebody a letter of expense that kind of breaks down what it costs to go out and rescue them. And we don't do that on all of them, so if there's a fatality involved or a real serious injury, we're not going to send a family a letter of expense after that. But on some of these search and rescues where we look at them and the people probably put themselves in a situation they shouldn't have been in, and we'll send letters out on those. And it just letting them know what the sheriff's office spent, what our how many volunteer hours we had, and how many man hours we had out in the field. And sometimes we'll get some money back. People will send us a little bit, usually not anywhere near what the total cost was, but they'll contribute back to the sheriff's office. Our volunteer groups do get quite a bit of money. People will donate to both sides, Chelan County Mountain Rescue and Chelan County Volunteer Search and Rescue.
You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Every golfer aims to play their best, and smart golfers turn to the Golfer's Edge to get the Golfer's Edge. PGA professional Ed Payne has you covered from tee to green. You can work on your swing or play 18 in air-conditioned comfort on the golf simulator. Tanya's Corner has all the apparel the golfer needs at sale prices. And Ed can even rebuild your favorite set of clubs or custom make you a brand new set. Ask how you can qualify for a free 30-minute lesson at the Golfer's Edge on Mission between Kittitas and Yakima.
Is this really what we're going to do on our girls' night out?
We should go to Club Crow. The bar and grill in Cashmere?
Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have a full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Tuesday. We have live volleyball coming up for you tonight here on the NCW Life channel. Tell you more about that in a second. First of all, let's check the Les Schwab prep scoreboard from Monday. In football, Manson down Lake Roosevelt 14-8 in a smokeout makeup from a game last Friday. Andy Kimes scored 2 goals as Cashmere beat Liberty Bell 5-0 in soccer. And in volleyball, Pateros over Manson by a score of 3-1. On the prep schedule for today in soccer, Lake Roosevelt's at Manson. Eastmont's on the road at Moses Lake at 7 o'clock tonight. Also, the match between Wenatchee and West Valley has been smoked out. The air quality in the Yakima Valley not good enough for that soccer match. We'll get you the update on when they want to reschedule that, if they do, coming up later on. Now, volleyball, no problem. We're indoors. So Cashmere's at Kittitas tonight. Lake Roosevelt's on the road at Waterville. Etihad's hosting Manson. The game we have right here between myself and Leanne Branham on the call, we'll have West Valley and Wenatchee. This one should be a good one between the Rams and the Panthers. That's going to be tonight at 7 o'clock. Also, Eastmont's on the road at Moses Lake. Chelan's at Brewster. Youth of all ages are invited for a fun, free event this Saturday at the NCW Gun Club in East Wenatchee. The Wenatchee Sportsmen's Association is hosting the NCW Youth Hunting and Fishing Day. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife hosted a similar event last year, and Keith Boyd, Vice President with the Wenatchee Sportsmen's Association, says it was something their club felt they had to continue.
Our club participated in the event last year, and that was one of the things that really struck me during the event last year was the number of young parents that were bringing kids up to the event that the parents themselves had no experience as well. So I think that's why it's a great opportunity for people that maybe have not experienced these outdoor activities to come up and see what it's all about, and maybe learn something, and it'll inspire them to get out and enjoy what we have to offer in this neck of the woods here.
The free event runs 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday with raffle drawings for all who attend at 2 o'clock. There's also free lunch and a bunch of other free goodies. So take the kids or grandkids up to the NCW Gun Club this Saturday. That's where Wenatchee Valley's Super Oval is located. I'll be there, and I hope to see you there as well. Ariel Miranda had his shortest outing as a professional Monday, which wasn't good news for the Mariners as they fell to Texas 5-3 in Arlington. Miranda allowed 4 runs on 6 hits and just an inning and a third to take the loss. Good news was the relief pitching of Andrew Moore. He went 6 innings, allowing just 1 run and a solo homer by Delano Shields in the 4th. He also struck out 7. While manager Scott Service was disappointed with Miranda's start, he was very pleased with Moore's finish.
He's running on fumes right now. I think that's what we're seeing. And again, I appreciate how he competes and how he goes out there. There are certain nights he just didn't have it, and didn't have it at all tonight. So, we'll take a look where he's at a couple days from now. But certainly Andrew Moore, story of the night, for me on the pitching side was, can't say enough about the job he did. Used all of his pitches, pitched up in the zone, used the changeup, mixed into breaking ball against a pretty good ball club. So, definite positive sign there.
Mitch Haniger went 3 for 4 at the plate with a 2-run home run in the 3rd. Kyle Seager had his 23rd home run in the 2nd, but Seattle hitters also struck out 11 times in the game, too many for their manager.
We struck out, too much tonight. You got to get ball in play. Nothing good happens when you strike out. But Hamels was Hamels. He hung in there. I thought their bullpen was really good tonight. We put some swings on him late, but like I said, Middlebrooks made a couple good plays at third base as well.
Seattle in Texas for Game 2 tonight. In the wildcard standings, the Mariners keep sliding back, so they have to win. That's sports. I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCW Life Channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. For 23 years, the Building North Central Washington Home Tour and Remodeling Expo have been part of the annual Tour of Homes. Tina Hofstetter and Robert Garrett of the BNCW joined Dan Kuntz this morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to talk more about the annual event.
And it's most of these homes that are claimed, or people are already living in them and they just leave for 3 days and people walk through their house, or spec homes, or what?
Good mix.
Yeah, okay.
Good mix. Some are spec homes that have been sold that the homeowners are gracious enough to allow the contractor to have the tour there. Some are custom homes that have been sold, and some are just waiting to be sold. So it's a good chance to, maybe make an offer on a house.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. What, are we talking like $1 million mansions that I can't afford, or we're talking maybe something within my price range? Because I'm living in my car right now, so I'm just, I'm kidding about the car thing.
Yeah.
So.
The homes they range probably like around $300,000 all the way up to $1 million. So you get the good gamut of pricing. And, they're all going to be beautiful. They're all going to have their different looks and styles. And, when they're custom, they're usually more built to the specific people that are building their home. So you got to keep that in mind when you're walking through them, that they're custom. And then the spec homes are usually tend towards, for sale. This is what people want, and so they have a tendency to have that the same look that you're used to seeing, and then all the way up to your $1 million homes, which are the custom homes.
The tour of homes takes place September 15th, 16th, and 17th. We'll be back in just a moment with a recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. Come see us at the Plaza in Lake Chelan.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's blueberry picking season and King 5 named us the second best destination restaurant in Washington State. So toss the family in the cruiser and get on out to Blueberry Hills for the best down-home scratch country cooking you've had in years. And don't forget our award-winning pies. We're fun, family-friendly, and a delicious destination year-round. We're open every day from 8 to 3, serving breakfast and lunch all day. So come on out to Blueberry Hills.
And now a recap of our top story. At the regular board meeting Monday night, the Eastmont School Board decided to add the possibility of changing the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary as an agenda item for the October 23rd school board meeting. Eastmont School Board spokesman and school superintendent Garn Christensen says the issue of the name change was too important to ignore, and now the process begins for a school board decision.
You know, the board has the authority to make a decision if they feel they're ready to. It will just depend on how their conversation goes and whether or not they decide that's a topic they do want to consider further, or if they do, what process to use. You know, the policy doesn't stipulate a committee or anything like that. Typically, a board, when they're faced with a concern such as this, can either say, no, we're fine, we want to leave the name as it is. Sometimes they'll task the superintendent to form a committee and come back with recommendations, or they'll put on a calendar, you know, we'll review this name at some point in the future. Sometimes when schools are rebuilt or modernized, there'll be a process that's used to review the name and determine if that's the name they want to continue or whether or not they want to consider a change.
The name controversy is also swirling around the two candidates running for the Eastmont School Board, John Brangwyn and Dave People. Brangwyn has already stated he supports changing the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary, and People recently released a statement saying the school's name is not as important as what happens inside the school. Christensen says he can't predict whether the candidate's position regarding the name change will determine who is elected this fall.
You know, I can't predict that question. You know, board candidates often have different opinions on various issues on how schools work or how they might work, and that will be up to each candidate to express those. I do not know. I know both have shared some thoughts on this so far. I think one has come out with an opinion, but the other gentleman is still waiting until the discussion further evolves.
Time now to take a look at your weather forecast for north central Washington. Once again, let's check that weather window. And it was a beautiful day out there today. Temperatures mainly in the lower to mid 80s around north central Washington. Beautiful look from our Pine Canyon camera down at the Columbia River. Some clouds out there, a little bit of wind too, and that will definitely be in our weather story the next couple of days. Today was basically our last day of above normal high temperatures for the foreseeable future. As a cold front passes through on Wednesday, we will, as it moves in, it will bring with it strong gusty northerly winds with readings between 15 and 30 miles per hour, which could affect area wildfires, as we mentioned. Watch out in the Okanagan Valley as well as central Washington. Then basically just cooler temperatures for the rest of the work week. The real feature of interest is the large upper low dropping out of the Gulf of Alaska. It will approach the Pacific Northwest by the end of the weekend. And as we jump ahead to Sunday, here is a great look at the area, a huge area of low pressure that will be just off our coast. Rain hits the Washington and Oregon coast Sunday and spreads inland by Sunday night and into Monday. Models diverge quite a bit, though, by Tuesday on how this large feature will evolve, but feel confident that the inland northwest will see widespread wetting rains from this event into early next week. So let's take a look at that forecast now. Tonight will drop down to 59 degrees. Remember, windy and very windy conditions for your Wednesday. 78 our high temperature under mostly cloudy skies. Back to the sunshine for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Temperatures mainly in the middle 70s. Then a 50% chance for rain on Sunday. We'll see 73 for our high. About a 30% chance for more showers Sunday night, and that drops to 20% for Monday. High temperatures by the first part of next week at 71 degrees. And as we leave you tonight, the start of the hunting season is underway. Check out this video of 2 bull elk fighting in western Montana. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
Reed's Marine in Manson has your boating needs covered, offering the superior Regal lineup with options from 19 to 53 feet. With the Regal Express line, you have the freedom to explore with an innovative interior and the largest headroom in its class. Don't forget the roomy cockpit with seating to fit the whole family. From 26 to 32 feet, Reed's Marine has the Regal Express to fit your needs. View our current inventory at ChelanBoat.com or stop by our Manson showroom on beautiful Lake Chelan and see the entire Regal line.
Wenatchee Valley College is now offering 4-year degrees. The need for engineering technologists is rapidly growing, and the new Bachelor of Applied Science in Engineering Technology is designed to meet the needs of local employers. Students with an associate degree can complete the program in only 2 or 3 years. Don't wait! The program is accepting just 20 students for fall quarter. Apply now at wvc.edu/engineeringtech.
Latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020.